Yeah, that's interesting.
All right, looks like we have some people on.
Good.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to let you know that we're going to get started here in just a minute or two.
Thank you for joining us today. We're going to wait just probably another minute to allow people to come in. So I think we're sort of holding, just somebody else just joined. We'll give it 30 more seconds and then we'll get started.
Sure.
Okay. So good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Jennifer Odlum, and I work in adult services at Arlington Public Library, primarily with older adult programming and homebound services. Before I turn it over to my colleague, Brittany, I want to just cover a few housekeeping issues. First of all, importantly, today's program is being recorded. We will email you the link when it becomes available to us. All participants will be muted. We have a few informational slides, but today's program will primarily be an audio presentation. We'll be monitoring your questions in the Q&A area, and we'll provide opportunities for you to ask questions both during the presentation and at the end. So if you have any questions, you can ask them by clicking the Q&A icon at the bottom of the Zoom window and typing your questions in the Q&A area, in the Q&A box. If you're using a desktop or laptop, just hover your cursor over the bottom of the Zoom window and you'll see the Q&A icon on the menu bar. You can type your question there. If you're using a smartphone, tap the screen and the menu bar with the Q&A icon should appear. If you would like to ask questions via audio, we ask that you signal you've got a question by raising your hand. To do this, on your phone, you can raise your hand by tapping *9, and you will need to unmute yourself. You can do this by tapping *6. If you're on a computer, you can raise your hand by clicking on the raise hand icon. The shortcut for this feature is Alt-Y on Windows and Option-Y on a Mac. Now I'd like to turn it over to my colleague, Brittany.
Thank you, Jennifer. My name is Brittany Ham, and I also work in adult services along with Jennifer at Arlington Public Library. And now I'd like to introduce our speaker for today. So Paul Burden, the founder of Our Voice, is today's speaker. For the past 4 years, Paul has helped clients get the most out of their voice assistant devices. Paul has an extensive background in technology as VP at Microsoft and Senior VP at XAPPmedia, the world's largest provider of apps for voice assistants. So welcome, Paul, and take it away.
Thank you very much. And so I'd like to start by just thanking Jennifer and Brittany for hosting the call today. I have sort of two goals, and it depends on which category our listeners are in. For those that have voice assistants, I would like to be able to help you get the absolute most out of that voice assistant. And for those that don't and may be thinking about it or on the fence, I'd like to demonstrate to you why I think that these devices are really so vital in sort of making day-to-day tasks easier and more convenient, as well as, very importantly, keeping you safer in your home. Let me just quickly mention that Our Voice, my company, and I had this company for about 4 years, we worked primarily with blind and low vision clients, as well as clients that had neurological issues that limited their mobility. So in many cases, their voice was all they had left. And sadly, Our Voice is yet another victim of the pandemic. Most of our clients were residing in senior homes, and it's going to be a long, long time before non-family members have access to senior homes. So there's a silver lining there. I am not, I want to put everybody immediately at their ease. I am not trying to sell anything today. I just want to try to provide some information that will be helpful in your use of voice assistants. Now today, we're going to be talking about the Amazon Echo family of products, sometimes called Alexa, and we're going to define some terms in just a second. Now, there are other companies that offer voice assistant technology. Apple has the HomePad. Let me see. Google has a product called Nest. Samsung has a product called Bixby. Microsoft has Cortana. But I believe that the Amazon family of products is far and away the best. And I'll be touching on some of the reasons why I believe that as we go through the presentation. Okay, let's get started with the most basic question that I'm often asked. What does a person need in order to set up an Amazon Echo in their home? And it's just two very simple things. You need an Amazon account. That's one. It does not have to be a Prime account. It can be a vanilla Amazon account, free account. And if you don't have one, it's very easy to set up. You just go to Amazon.com, enter in your email address and a password of your choice, and now you've got an Amazon account immediately. The second thing that's required is a Wi-Fi connection in your home. It turns out that the devices themselves are actually not that smart. They get all their smarts from, everybody hears the constant talk about the cloud. Well, these devices just go back and forth to Amazon's cloud to get the information that the user is requesting, or the action also that the user is requesting. So with that being said, let's quickly define some terms here, because there's some confusion about different terms that are used when it comes to voice assistants. The Echo is the device, the piece of hardware. In Amazon's case, there are about 30 different models of the Echo, which is one of the reasons why we believe that it's the strongest offering. So that's the Echo. Alexa, and oftentimes these are used interchangeably, and that's technically not correct. Alexa is the voice service. So Alexa is in every Echo device, but she's also in the dashboard of automobiles. She's on wristwatches. She's in microwave ovens and refrigerators. She is ubiquitous. And probably the most important thing for you to understand today is this idea of skills. Think of skills in the Echo platform the same way you would think of as apps on your smartphones, whether it's an Android or an iPhone. They're synonymous. There's 150, at last count, There's 115,000 skills available for the Echo, and there are 5, 6, 10 or so introduced literally on a daily basis. So how do all the devices differ? They differ in a couple of fundamental ways. One is they either do or do not have a screen. Now, the device that I'm going to be using today to demonstrate some of the functionality of the Echo is called the Echo Show. I've got a 10-inch screen here that's helpful in many ways that I'll get into in a little bit. To give you a sense of, so they differ in a couple of ways. They either have a screen or they do not, and they are either mobile or they are not. For instance, Echo lives in a product called Echo Frames. Echo Frames are glasses. And you simply touch the frame of the glass to speak to Alexa, and she goes and gets the information or executes the request that you've made. For our clients that had neurological conditions, the frames were a godsend because the voice tends to degrade over time, and that puts the Alexa microphone as close to the voice as we can possibly get it. The Alexa app is where all of the magic happens, and the Alexa app resides on your tablet or your Android phone, excuse me, Android phone or iPhone, and of course that's mobile. So Alexa is fundamentally going with you wherever you happen to be, and you can access. Without Wi-Fi, you can access Alexa via the LTE, the way you make phone calls and send texts and that kind of thing. There's a very, very nice, we all know the process that we go through to keep everything updated on our phones and the tablets and our computers. We have to go and get the upgrade and download the upgrade, et cetera. You don't have to worry about that with an Echo. The Echo is updated constantly by Amazon, and it happens in the background. The device is actually smart enough to know that we are here on the East Coast, and so it'll update itself at 2, 3, or 4 in the morning when, presumably most people are snoozing, right? And then any update generally takes about 30 to 35 seconds. But the important thing to understand is you don't have to worry about updating the device. It's gonna take care of itself. Now, what I'm not going to be able to demonstrate today, just given the limitations of this sort of remote presentation, is I'm not going to be able to demonstrate to you any of the what's the so-called smart home technology. And I'm sure you've probably heard a little bit about that, or maybe you're actually utilizing that in your own home. Smart home technology does things like via voice commands, turns lights on and off, start your coffee maker in the morning, turns your HVAC to a particular temperature, and that kind of thing. So the Echo is very, very powerful in that sense, but I just wanted to let you know that I'm not going to be able to demonstrate any of that to you today. So now the wake word, we're all familiar with the most commonly used wake word and the wake word that is assigned by Amazon by default. Now, what is the wake word? The device is always listening for the wake word. It is not listening to standard conversations or anything else going on in the home, but it listens for the wake word. Once the wake word is issued, it wakes up and starts listening for your command. You can change, since I have several devices, I have changed the wake word on this particular device to Echo. You can use Alexa, Echo, computer, or Amazon for the wake word. So I want to give you a quick demonstration of skills and what skills are all about. Now remember, skills are synonymous with apps, and we all know how we download apps to our smartphones, right? Here's the way that you would enable, which is synonymous with downloading. So we're going to enable a skill right now, and you'll see how easy it is. Echo, enable Jeopardy.
Okay, here's Jeopardy!
This is Jeopardy!
Echo, stop.
Thanks for playing. Hope to see you next time.
So the magic word is enable, and I knew the name of the skill I wanted, the game, Jeopardy, and I now have access to that skill. And by the way, 99.99% of all skills that are available to you are absolutely free. There's no cost whatsoever for these skills. Jeopardy is a good example. Now, something that we're all familiar with here with our Metro transit system, let me give you another example of what a skill is. Echo, ask DC Metro when the next train arrives at Rockville. So she's thinking.
For Station Rockville, on the red line towards Grosvenor Strathmore, trains are arriving in 3, 17 and 32 minutes. On the red line towards Shady Grove, trains are arriving in 12 and 26 minutes.
Thank you.
You bet.
Okay, so that's another skill. So DC Metro, the folks at the DC Metro realized that there's millions and millions of these things installed all around the DMV. So they thought that it would be a good idea to create a skill where you can check on the train schedules and see, first of all, see if the trains are running, and secondly, see if they're on time for any given station stop. So that's just a quick example of skills. As I mentioned, there's 115,000 of these things, and to access them, you access them through the app on your smartphone by opening up the app and going to skills. You can also access the app via your computer. The web-based version of the app is available to you on alexa.amazon.com. So one of the things that you'll notice is just in terms of interacting with your device, it's always good to inject a 1-second pause when interacting with your device so you're clearly understood. So for example, Echo, what time is it?
The time is 1:18 p.m.
So that one little pause is going to help in terms of her understanding what it is you're asking for. So speaking of that, I wanted to touch on this, this group within Amazon that is called Alexa for All. And the Alexa for All group is chartered with creating features. So features are things that are just, that you, when you walk out, when the Echo first arrives and you set it up, there's lots and lots of features. So think about it like you do your smartphone. When you walked out of the store with your smartphone, your brand new smartphone, it would do tons and tons of things for you. But to make it uniquely yours and uniquely valuable to you, you downloaded apps. The same is true with the Echo device. So it'll do lots and lots of stuff right out of the box. But then you can look at these skills, and we'll go through more and more skills as the presentation goes on. This Alexa for All group, as I was mentioning a minute ago, they're tasked with creating features and skills that are going to benefit people with disabilities. So in this device, and on all Echo devices, when a command is issued to the device, a blue light illuminates, and that's just an indication that, okay, Alexa is saying to you, okay, I'm listening to you. Tell me what you want me to do. Now, for people that are visually impaired, they can't see that blue light come on. So just listen here. I'm going to turn up the volume just a little bit. After I say the wake word, you're going to hear a tone, and that tone is my audible indicator that she's listening. Echo, what's today's date?
Today is Thursday, August 13th.
So you heard that tone there, and I'm going to go into, well, I'll just do it right now. This is a good time. So what else has the Alexa for All group done for people with disabilities? One of the things that we frequently hear from the clients that we work with that are visually impaired is, man, make this thing talk faster. It's so tedious to listen to it in this slow cadence. Whoops, there she goes. Echo, speak faster.
Okay, I will speak at this speed from now on.
Echo, speak slower.
Okay, I will speak at this speed from now on.
So there are 4 gears there. I could have asked her to speak faster 4 times. And at the highest rate of speed, I personally have a very difficult time understanding her. However, people that are visually impaired love it. They can, now this works with the Echo device. It is slowly over time being incorporated into the skills as well, all right? And then the third thing that the Alexa for All group has done is they've come up with this feature called Show and Tell. Hold on a second, this thing. Echo, stop. Okay. Show and tell. So what is show and tell? Think about the following scenario. There's a visually impaired person living alone, and it's dinner time. So they reach up to the shelf and they grab a can, but what are they holding? Are they holding cream corn or are they holding tomato paste? Well, with a screen-based device, you hold up the can, you say, Alexa, what am I holding? And she's going to say, you're holding Hunt's tomato paste, 12 ounces. It's got this many calories per serving and this amount of vitamin D in it and all the rest of that stuff, right? So, so Amazon continues to work on features that will benefit people with disabilities, but that's just the first 3 that they happen to introduce. Now, let me just take you through, and these are features. These are things that I'm just going to rapidly go through a number of items here that, as I say, are features and are inherent in the device right out of the box. You can, Echo, what's the weather?
In Rockville, there's a flash flood watch in effect until Friday, August 14th, 12 a.m. The current weather is 74 degrees Fahrenheit with cloudy skies. Today, you can expect some sun.
Stop. So the weather forecast can be given to you for a 10-day forecast. So I could ask, what's the weather going to be a week from Friday? And she's going to tell me what the forecast is. Now, when you register your Amazon account, you're going to register your home address, and that's how she knows how to give you your local weather. Of course, if I wanted to know what the weather is in London, I could just say, Echo, you know, what's the weather in London or anywhere else in the world for that matter, and she's going to let me know. One of the things that we used to do for our clients is, well, it's always better when she does most of the talking, not me. So, Echo, what are my headlines?
Now you can get even more news from your preferred source, NPR. You can always still ask for your flash briefing, but you'll hear a longer queue of stories from NPR when you ask me to play the news. Welcome to NPR. Let's add local news to today's stories. Please tell me your zip code.
Echo, stop.
Okay. For now, I'll play only national and international news. Here we go.
Live from NPR News, I'm Barbara Klein.
Echo,
The Labor
stop.
Department says unemployment claims
Whoops.
dropped significantly last week.
Stop. So this is new. This is a new feature. Apparently NPR is paying Amazon to be front and center when you ask for news. However, what you can do is you can prioritize. There are about 4,500 news sources available. Washington Times, Washington Post, you know, the Duquesne Gazette. There's thousands of them, and you can set them up in order of priority in terms of the news that you want to get. Oftentimes people enjoy listening to news from, you know, the hometown that they grew up in. So no shortage of news sources. And for those clients that we worked with that were visually impaired, we would enable the National Foundation for Blindness Newsline, which has about 300 different news sources just on the NFB. Now, let's say we wanted to listen to the radio. Echo, play WTOP radio.
WTOP from TuneIn.
The WTOP Listen Live experience is brought to you by McAfee. Count on McAfee, Carasoft, and their reseller partners
Echo.
to support your...
Pause. So anything that she is doing, you can pause. Let's say you began to listen to the news and your phone rings or there's a knock on the door. You just pause, and then whenever you're ready, and there's no time limit, so to speak, you can ask her to just continue. Echo, continue.
Listen Live experience is brought to you by McAfee. Count on McAfee,
Echo.
Carasoft, and...
Stop.
Hey, Paul, this is
Yes.
Brittany here. We had someone come in with a question. They
Please.
asked, can the device call 911 if you fall and cannot get to the phone? And how close must you be to the device for it to hear you?
Okay, two good questions. So let me answer the 911 question. The answer is no, and here's the reason. So you can pair the device with your smartphone. And when you pair the device with the smartphone, it's going to ask for your permission to upload your contacts. If you provide that permission and say yes, all of your contacts are going to be here. Now you can even create shortcuts. So instead of saying, Echo, call Jane Doe, you could just say, Echo, call Mom. And it's going to call, and oh boy. So I've got another device answering me across the way there, which is a segue into the next thing that I'll say in a minute, which is how close do you have to be. The reason that you can make phone calls, and you can make phone calls anywhere in the continental U.S., Canada, and Mexico. You cannot make long distance phone calls through the Echo. Now you can use Skype to make international phone calls. Skype has created a skill for the device, and that way you can make international phone calls. The reason is simply this. When you make a phone call on an Echo device, you're actually making what is referred to as a VoIP call, VoIP, which is Voice over Internet Protocol. And a VoIP call does not communicate to the 911 operator your location. If you have a home phone and you call 911, that 123 Main Street is going to be sent immediately to the 911 operator, and he or she is going to know where you are and where to send help. So you dial 911 and then you pass out. They still know where to send it. It's unfortunate, and to tell you the truth, the only thing that I can come up with is that these devices were not being sold very often. So Amazon discontinued a product called Echo Connect. Echo Connect was a $30 black box that you plug your home phone in, and then you would say, Alexa, call 911, and she would use your home phone line to call that number, and it would send the resident address. So that's a long-winded answer to a short question. So no, she cannot dial 911. I'm gonna just jump ahead and talk a little bit about, the second part of the question was radius. So provided the user has a reasonably strong voice, one Echo per floor is generally speaking sufficient. you didn't hear it, of course, because it's too far away, but I am in my office, which is right next to our back porch here. And I'm guessing I'm about 65 feet away from another device, and she heard me and tried to make a call. I don't have a Jane Doe in my contact list, so she ended up not calling anybody. But generally speaking, one device per floor is satisfactory. But let me touch on, because in my introductory remarks I said keep you safer in your home. I do want to touch on that, and we had a listener ask about 911. There's a skill called My Buddy. There are 3 different tiers of this skill. The introductory tier, so to speak, is absolutely free. And what My Buddy does is, so for the free tier, you get 5 contacts and you get 10 usages a month. And so say that an Alexa user is in distress. They feel a numbness on their left side. They think that they're going to faint. They feel an epileptic episode coming on, whatever the case may be. You simply say, Alexa, My Buddy. And Alexa says, who should I contact? And we trained all of our clients to say everybody. And what happens is this: a phone call, an email, and a text goes to everybody that has been configured on the My Buddy skill in the background. And when they pick up their phone, it will say, Mrs. Jones is in distress. She needs help immediately. Please contact 911. We do not discourage. In fact, we encourage our clients that have an SOS lanyard around their neck or on their wrist or whatever to do that. That said, we frequently hear stories about people that they get in the shower, so they put their lanyard on the bureau or on the sink, then they walk out to the kitchen, and that's when they run into trouble, and now they're really in trouble. So this is just a good sort of companion or backup way to make sure that you can request help if the user is in distress. And that, once again, that skill is called My Buddy. It's free. You enable that skill, and then you configure it with the people that you want contacted. And the other thing to understand about My Buddy is, oftentimes we would have clients say, "Oh, well, I want my brother. I want my brother notified that I'm in distress." Well, okay, well, so where does your brother? Well, he lives in Denver. Well, that's not very handy. You need, if there's somebody close by that's at home often, a neighbor, and in a senior home, somebody that is sitting at the front desk, for example, that's what you really want to do. Now, by the way, if 5 contacts seems insufficient for a user, they can increase that to 10 contacts. That's the middle tier, and it's literally $3.99 a month. So it's very, very affordable. This is probably a good time. Brittany, are there that I can field some questions on what we've gone over so far? Are there any other questions in the queue?
None in the queue so far.
Okay.
But if anyone does have a question who's on the call, you can raise your hand and we can allow you to unmute yourself. And just as a reminder, you can raise your hand by tapping *9 or using the raise your hand button on Zoom. So we do have a couple people. So
okay.
Stuart, if you would like to go ahead and unmute yourself and you can ask a question.
I guess my question deals with how do you connect, how do you actually pair the device with your phone? I mean, what is the actual, what do you actually physically do to make that happen?
Okay. Good question. So it's a very, very simple process. I spoke earlier about the Alexa app. So when you have the Alexa app open on your phone, and you're in reasonably close proximity to your Echo device, your Echo is going to say, "Oh, I see a smartphone here. Would you like to pair that phone?" Yes. And then the second question is, do I have your permission? Do I have the user permission to upload the contacts from your phone to my database? Yes. That's literally all there is to it. Now your device is a phone. So for a lot of the clients that we had, again, with mobility issues that couldn't manipulate a smartphone or pick up a phone, I would just say, Echo, call my friend Dave Gearing. And then she's going to respond back just to confirm. She said, "Do you mean David Gearing?" "Yes, I do." All right, I got to shut this door because this other, excuse me, one sec. So I apologize, folks. I have 7 of these things in my house, and this one I was afraid this was going to be distracting, so I just muted that particular device. So anyway, I think it was Stuart. That is the process. It's very straightforward.
Great, thank you.
Sure.
Thank you, Stuart. And we have a couple other people on the phone who'd like to talk. So if your phone number ends in 5369, you should be able to talk now or unmute yourself.
Yes,
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question about setting something up for my mother who is in assisted living. And she does not have a smartphone. There is Wi-Fi in her building. I'm wondering if I could set it up with my phone when I'm present, and then if I leave, will it still operate being connected to her Wi-Fi?
So that's a very good question. The answer is yes. The scenario that you described will work just fine. The only caveat is that that's going to be on your Amazon account. This is not a problem for most people, but I just wanted to make you aware that if, let's say, your mom wants to order paper towels, hypothetically, right? Those paper towels are probably they are definitely going to go to your address versus her address.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'd like you to continue, and then I'll follow up. You may cover what I was going to.
Sure. So for a lot of our clients that lived in senior homes and use the exact scenario that you just articulated, one of the issues that we were a bit cautious about and just wanted people to understand is for some clients who were beginning to show very, very early signs of dementia and that kind of thing, they can order anything. They could order a brand new car if they want, right? So you just have to be aware of the fact that if they are on your account with the device, the voice ordering is going to work for them, and she's not going to ask any questions. She's just going to ship the car.
Okay. When you have, on my mobile, I have an Alexa at home. Would it be advantageous to name my mother's device with one of the other names? Or doesn't that matter?
No, that doesn't matter because it's only proximity to the device that matters. So, you're in your home, she's in the senior home. There won't be any confusion between the devices.
Is it, well, I guess she couldn't. I thought maybe if she had that device, it's connected to to my phone, is there any voice way for her to contact me through the device? But I guess not, because they think I'm there.
Right. Yeah. So that's fine. She can have it named whatever she wants.
And then I could not be on her contact list for emergency because it wouldn't call myself, would it?
No, it would. It absolutely would. You just
Whatever I program in.
You put your own name in your contacts, and then I would encourage you to enter in a nickname. So as you enter a contact, up in the upper left-hand corner in the app, there's nickname. You just fill that in. And so she can just call you by first name. She can just say, Alexa, call Mary, right? And that phone call will be placed.
And Alexa now greets me by name when I activate her. If my mother were to say, Alexa, play the news or good morning, and they wouldn't say, would they say, good morning, my name? Is there a way to put her name in?
Yes. Now this gets just a tiny bit complicated, but Amazon has thought about that very scenario. And there's this thing called a voice profile. You find the voice profile in the app, and
yes, I've heard about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's the way. So it's going to
device.
Say again.
I'm sorry. So we train that device to recognize her voice, so it will respond to her.
Exactly right. Exactly right. Think about this, right? If you have a husband and wife living in the same home, and the wife says, Alexa, call mom. And then the husband comes in, 20 minutes later and says, Alexa, call mom. Well, those are two different moms. So she uses the voice profile to call the right person, knowing which is which.
Excellent. Thank you for your time. I will let someone else go ahead. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
Thank
Paul,
you.
This is Jennifer. I just wanted to share a comment that was made by Lauren, who mentioned that you can also, back on the purchasing issue, that you can set up a purchase PIN number.
That's right. So that's absolutely right. So in other words, just to expound on it a little bit for the rest of the listeners, if in fact you have people in your home and you don't want people, or you don't want your children, for instance, ordering things, you can set up a personal ID number, and then you say, Alexa, order paper towels. And she says, happy to do so. What's your PIN? And then you have to issue the PIN. Back to voice profile for a second. You can also say, here's my voice profile. Only this voice spends money. Only this voice is enabled to order products from Amazon. And by the way, probably it's assumed, but it's worth pointing out, you can't ask Alexa to buy you a sport coat at Lord & Taylor. Every purchase that is being made on the platform is, is going to Amazon. They have over 500 million SKUs in their inventory, so you're not limited very much. But I just thought it was worthwhile to point that out.
Thanks, Paul. And we do have one more person with a question. Paul Daddario, I'm going to allow you to talk. And you should be able to unmute yourself, Paul.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, you're
good. Yes, sir.
Okay, Paul, this is a quick question. For those of you who haven't heard Paul speak before, he's a barrel of information and is very willing to share it, and we all appreciate it. And I do hope you'll give your website before the talk is over. My question is all these security things are terrific. So, but I wanted to mention an entertainment question. We happen to have recently been gifted an Amazon Echo, and we're told that we can use it to control for example, we have Verizon cable, that we can control the cable box through the Echo for people like me who can't see to turn channels and look at the TV guide and things like that. Is that true?
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Okay, so
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Paul.
no, I was just going to say, is my very technically savvy son is visiting us soon, and I was going to have him set it up if it's true, but I didn't want to have him spend the time to do it if it's not possible.
So here's the best way to do that. There is a device. Remember, in my introductory remarks, I mentioned there's 30 different models of the Echo. There's a model called the Echo Cube, C-U-B-E, Cube. It's
Okay.
a full-blown Echo, but it was designed with controlling your TV in mind. So that connects to your Wi-Fi, and it connects to your smart TV. Now you have to have smart TV. It connects to your smart TV via, I believe it's the HDMI port. I may be wrong about that, but it hardwire connects to your television, and then it will do everything that the Echo will do, but it also will do, Alexa, turn on Channel 9 News. Alexa, show me documentaries. Alexa, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I would just finally say, Paul, that are you a Amazon Prime subscriber?
Not currently, no.
Okay.
Oh, because you think we could stream Prime Video?
You could stream, yeah. Being Prime with a smart TV and an Echo Cube connected to your smart TV, it just opens up new worlds of possibilities for you to stream all kinds of entertainment. To say, you could. Let me give you an example. I'm going to give you an example on the device here. Echo, where's my stuff?
A delivery for an order placed Wednesday, July 1st, should arrive Tuesday, November 10th.
Oh my goodness, November 10th. I don't even have any idea what.
Here's this day in history. Okay, here's this day in history. November 10th, 1969.
Echo.
On this.
Stop.
Goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye. So the point was that you could ask, where's my stuff? And she's going to show you on the screen the products that are going to be delivered on any given date. It just being Prime and combining it with all of the functionality of the Echo Cube is really a very powerful combination for you.
And I'll add that my understanding is that the number of offerings in terms of movies that are streamed and programs on Amazon Prime, the number that are audio described is quite high. So that's why I'm considering.
Good point. Yes, very good point.
Thank you, Paul.
Yes, absolutely.
And I
Brittany,
don't see anyone
questions
else. No, no one else has raised their hand. So I think we can go on with the presentation and we'll ask for more questions later.
Okay, sounds great. Sounds great. So, when we hear ads on the radio or television, mostly on the radio, for podcasts, despite the fact that Amazon and Apple are competitors, they have finally gotten together, and Apple has opened up its podcast library, by far the largest library in the world. 99% of people get their podcasts via the iTunes from Apple, and all of those podcasts are available to listeners. And again, they're free. You just need to know the specific name of the podcast, and you ask Alexa to play the podcast, and boom. And then you can do just as I demonstrated earlier. You can pause. You can ask her to stop. You can ask her to turn the volume up, turn the volume down, all via voice. So moving on a little bit here, you can think of the device really the way you do. Oh boy, hold on. I've got Google devices too, so I got to turn this down. the way you do your search engine, and most people's default search engine is Google. Not everybody, but most. So let me give you an example here. Echo, when was Abraham Lincoln born?
Abraham Lincoln was born on February 12, 1809.
Okay, so I've got a picture of Honest Abe right here, and some text telling me the date he was born, and he was 56 years old when he passed. So now, if I want some detailed information, I'm going to go to Wikipedia, and let me show you the difference here. Echo, Wikipedia, Abraham Lincoln.
Here's the Wikipedia article on Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was an American statesman and lawyer who served as the 16th president of the United States.
Stop. So she's going to go on and on describing what he accomplished, what he did in his presidency. You know, at the end, of course, it's going to talk about his assassination and that kind of thing. But the magic word there is just use as a preface, Wikipedia, and then you're going to get far more detailed information about whatever subject matter it is that you are interested in. A close cousin of phone calling is the ability to send messages and or texts. So let me give you an example. Echo, send a message.
To whom?
Paul Burden.
What's the message for Paul Burden?
Showing these nice folks how messaging works.
Got it. Should I send it?
Yes.
Sending from Paul.
All right, you heard that little tone, right? That's just the tone that I've got a message. Echo, play my messages.
One for Paul Burden from Paul Burden.
Showing these nice folks how messaging works.
So that's
received just now.
Okay, thank you. So that was my voice. It wasn't Alexa's voice delivering the message. So you can, here again, anybody in your contacts list, you could just say send a message, and it's, you know, they're busy, or you know they're traveling, or whatever the case may be, but you wanted to convey some information. Messaging is a great way to do that. Now, in addition to that, you can let me see what's going to happen here. Echo, read my email.
In the last day, 10 unread emails in focused. First email from Visiting Angels of Washington, D.C. You're invited to Visiting Angels, Washington, D.C.'s grand opening. What would you like? Read, delete, or next?
Delete.
Okay, deleted.
Echo.
Next email.
Stop. So let me tell you the good news and the bad news about email. So right now, Microsoft's Outlook, email, and Gmail are supported on the, whoops, you got to mute. There's two limitations. One is fine. The other is a mystery to me. The first limitation is you may have heard her say you have X number of emails today. So she's only going to read to you the emails that she received in the last 24 hours. The limitation, however, is I can't. So I was just speaking with Paul there, the gentleman that's listening in on the call. I can't say, Echo, send an email to Paul. So you can't originate an email message yet. I'm sure Amazon's working on it. The name is in the contact, so I can't understand why that limitation exists, but it does. Now, there's this notion of account linking, right? So how did it know where to go to get my email? I had to link my Microsoft Outlook account on the app. And so I told her what my email address is. I told her what my email password is, my Outlook password. And now she has access to my email and can read my email. I could have replied to that. I could have deleted it. I could have archived it with one voice command using each of those words. By the same token, calendaring is supported. And the calendars that are supported, again, are Outlook and the Gmail calendar. Echo, add an event to my calendar.
Got it. What day and time?
Tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
And what's the name of the event?
Dr. Smith.
That's Dr. Smith on Friday, August 14th at 10 a.m., right?
Right.
Okay, I've added that.
Okay, so a couple things. That has gone to my calendar on my phone and on my computer. So it's automatically been written in on those calendars. And unfortunately right now I can't manipulate this, but I would get a notification, a reminder 15 minutes prior to that appointment that I have an appointment with Dr. Smith. I don't think it's going to be long before we're able to manipulate that, right? If it's an hour drive, the 15-minute notification doesn't do you much good, but you do get those notifications. So by entering the login and password to either your Google account or your Outlook account, you now have access to calendar and email.
Paul, can I interject?
Please.
We have 3 questions.
Yeah.
Henry asks, how much of what you have described for Echo is available for Google?
Oh, okay, good question. Oh, that's a very good question. Hold on, let me mute her again. Yeah. So, as I mentioned, there are 115,000 Echo skills. There are a very, very small fraction of those skill action. So, hold on, let me get my thoughts straight here. Echo calls apps skills. Google calls apps actions. I have not checked in a while, admittedly, but there was a small fraction of actions available on the Google platform only that you could access through the Google devices. So that's number one. Number two, as I mentioned earlier, I think that the Echo platform is far and away the more solid and attractive platform. Google right now, and I've got a Google screen-based device and a non-screen-based device in my home. They offer 3 different models of the Google device. So Amazon offers 30. I mean, I really think it's just apples and oranges. The other thing that I would say in comparing the two is Amazon's Echo tech support is stellar. There are 2 kinds. So I've been in the tech business for a long time. There's 2 kinds of tech support. You compensate your tech support people for how fast they can get a user off the phone, or you compensate them by as a result of problem solving. Amazon's tech support is a problem solving account, and you can reach them online or you can reach them by phone. If you reach them by phone, you put in a callback number. They generally speaking call you back within 5 to 7 seconds, and they're on the phone with you for as long as it takes. So all of the smart home stuff, Google's pretty strong at. I would say that the real dichotomy is the number of actions that are available, think apps, and the number of devices that are available. Google is just a very, very distant second in each of those categories. And by the way, I have no affiliation with Amazon. I'm not an Amazon employee. I don't get paid by Amazon for anything. This is just by knowing the technology and understanding what each has to offer. Another question?
Yeah, we've got a functionality question from Cindy. Can the device play an audiobook received from the library? Presumably it would be maybe Overdrive, but people might be interested in talking books as well, or Bard.
I have to confess, I'm going to say I think so, but my disclaimer is I'm not 100% sure. Let me augment that.
From your calendar, 3 o'clock tea time
Oh, boy.
starts now.
So I'm playing golf this afternoon, folks.
From your calendar, 3 o'clock tea time starts now.
I like to warm up at the range before I play, so it's telling me I'm golfing now. But that's an example of what the calendar does. Regarding books, so Amazon owns Kindle, Amazon owns Audible, and so both of those are available. Kindle, if you have a Kindle account and you have Kindle Books, those Kindle Books are read to you on the device for free, right? You've already paid for the book, it'll read it to you. The issue on Kindle playback is that it is Alexa reading you the book, which is to say it's a computer reading you the book. And so that gets very tedious very fast, right? It's going to be very monotone, you know, no professional narration where you create excitement and drama and that kind of thing. Audible, however, does provide all that, and oftentimes you get your choice of narrators. Now, as I mentioned, the vast majority of skills are available at no cost. They're free. Audible is an exception to that, and it's a notable exception because it's relatively expensive. It's I believe I'm right when I say it's $14.99 a month. For that, you get 3 books a month, and any book that you order beyond those 3, Amazon guarantees a 30% discount off market price. Some of the other book services, my email address is Paul, P-A-U-L, B as in boy, U, at msn.com. So I would just like to ask Jennifer or Brittany to send me an email with that question. I'll do a little research and see what other books are available through the Echo platform.
Okay, we will remind you about that.
Okay.
And follow up. We have another comment, and this is from Cheryl. Would like us to mention to everybody that, well, I should step back. Cheryl Beversdorf is the host of the local Aging Matters TV and radio shows. And she wanted to let everybody know that you were her first guest on the Aging Matters TV show back in
Yes, I was.
2018, I think. And for anybody who wants to view or listen to that episode, you go to YouTube and type in Aging Matters TV show, and it will show as episode 1.
Yeah, that
service announcement.
Thank you, Cheryl, for mentioning that. Yeah, I got all gussied up for that. I was in my Sunday best. So let me finish up by talking about, so in these presentations, a very common question that is asked is, you know, well, this is all great, right? Well, where's this technology going? What is going to happen, and how will it evolve? And the answer to that is, and this is, by the way, let me just say before I define what I think the future is going to be for this technology. Some people are going to be thrilled with this. Some people are going to see it as invasive and maybe even a little creepy, so to speak. But here's where it's going. Right now, as you've heard, when I interact with this device, I issue a command. She gives me the information on Abraham Lincoln or the metro stop or the weather, whatever the case may be. But until that time, she is quiet. What's coming is information that is going to be offered up by the Echo without it being asked for. And let me give you 2 examples. You know, my son's coming in from LA in the airport, right? And so I say, you know, Echo, tell me about Delta Flight 224. And she's going to say, left LA at this time, arrived at Denver. It gets into BWI, gate B7 at 7:59 p.m. Well, that's good information. What's coming is that she's going to say, would you like to know if any of that changes? Yeah. If he gets snowed in Denver and is 2 hours delayed, I sure do want to know about that, right? And so she's going to offer that information up to me. Now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This gets far more sophisticated. And if you want more information on this, just Google Alexa Conversations. Alexa Conversations is this really very elegant marriage between voice recognition and artificial intelligence. And one of the results of your Google search is going to be a YouTube video that's going to come up, and it's going to give a demonstration of Alexa Conversations. The scenario is this. A woman asks, and this is on a screen-based device, by the way. Woman asks, what movies are playing in my area? And here again, Alexa knows where you live, so she's going to show you local movie theaters. And the user says, oh, show me the trailer for movie 2, or whatever the case may be, The Graduate, right? So she'll play that. Then say, well, how long is that movie? That movie is 2 hours and 12 minutes. And then Alexa is going to offer. She's not being asked. She's going to offer. She's going to say, would you like me to buy you 2 tickets? Yes. For what show? 7:30 show. Okay. I've got seat B3 and B4 for you. And Alexa is going to offer, are you going to have dinner? Yes. Show me Chinese restaurants. Here's a couple of Chinese restaurants in the area. Okay. I like this one. I like Far East. Would you like me to make you a reservation? Yes, make me a reservation for 6 o'clock. All right, reservation is made. And you get an email confirmation to show the people at the restaurant. And then she's going to say, do you need an Uber to get to the restaurant? Yes, get me an Uber X. Okay, Uber X is scheduled to arrive at 5:55. And so as she begins to know more and more about you as a user, she's going to offer up information that she thinks is valuable to you. Now here again, some people are like, I don't want that. Not interested in having her volunteer information. And of course, you can put her on DND and she's going to know, again, that we're on the East Coast. She's not going to spout something off at midnight or anywhere between, say 10 o'clock p.m. to 5 a.m. or 7 a.m., whatever you specify. But that's really where this technology is headed. So it can become a more integral and helpful part of your day-to-day life. The one thing that regarding safety that I didn't mention, because I'm sort of jumping around here a little bit in responding to some questions, is this thing called Echo Guard. And so let me just give you a quick demonstration of that. Echo, I'm leaving.
Okay, I'll start guarding now.
Okay, so this is basically a home security system. It's absolutely free. And what's happening here? Well, what's happening is Echo is listening for a smoke detector alarm. She's listening for a carbon monoxide detector alarm. She's listening for the sound of breaking glass. And if she hears any of that, she is going to send an email and a text to the user, because presumably they're out of the home, and she's going to send a 10-second snippet of what she heard. So you're out and about, maybe that there's a fire in the kitchen. You could call 911 and say, there's a fire at this address, please get there as soon as you possibly can. You can leave guard on for as long as you'd like, even when you're home, or you could just say, Echo, I'm home.
All right, I've stopped guarding your home.
So let me finish with one thing that's very handy, and that's this notion of routines. So for anybody who in their lives has ever written software code, routines are simply commands that are stacked on top of one another. So for example, every morning I set the alarm, and I set the alarm to wake me up to WTOP. I listen to a couple minutes of news, and then I say, Alexa, good morning. And she says, good morning. And what she then does is she turns on the coffee. She turns on the light in the hallway and the bathroom. She reads me the headlines, and then she reads me what's on my calendar for today. And routines are very, very simple to set up. They're set up in the app, of course, but it just enables you to stack a number of different commands on top of one another. So she'll do all of that as a result of just a single command. So let me take a final round of questions. Anyone?
Stuart has another question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Can we get your email in case we have more questions?
Yeah, absolutely. So email is Paul, there it is, paulbu@msn.com.
And we have a caller call-in question.
Okay.
Go ahead and ask your question. I think we're just waiting for her to unmute.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
So you weren't able to hear me. I'll try it again. Okay. I was actually, I've forgotten the question. Thank you. Oh, I know. It was about, oh, no, I don't. Okay. Oh, setting up things. You said, of course, you have to do that on the app. And as a blind person, was it sequences or something you were talking about? And I've had that happen a lot with Alexa, that I'll ask a question and they will say, go to your app and read the answer. It's like, oh, okay, that's not any help. Is there any way to do some of those? If it says do it on the app, I guess that's the only option.
Right, but so now do you use VoiceOver?
I can. And so, I mean, in other words, I was trying to avoid having to do that, get out my device and
I understand.
And do VoiceOver. Yeah. So it's not that I can't do that.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's what I would suggest is using VoiceOver to navigate.
That's definitely okay. Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Sam has information to share in response to Paul D'Addario's question about controlling FiOS with Alexa. He said that skill that will allow you to control your set-top box if you have a supported model. And then he gives a link, which Paul, specifically, we can share that link with you. We can share it with everybody when we send out the link to this presentation.
Okay, that's fantastic. So I think I learned something today. Does that suggest that Verizon has come up with a specific skill just for the Verizon set-top box? So now I'm asking the questions. I can look. Never mind. Let me retract that. I'll look it up. I'll do a little research. But I appreciate that input because I wasn't aware of that.
So thank you, Sam. I don't see any other questions at this time. Any other second call for questions?
So let me, oh, I'll wait, Jennifer.
That's okay. I don't see anything. Henry says thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Just a word for current Echo users. If you're an Amazon registered Echo user, every Friday, there's an email that will arrive in your inbox. And oh my goodness, I don't know it says something like, what's new with Alexa? And a lot of times people just, oh, here's more junk mail, delete. I would encourage everybody to open that mail up and just do a quick scan of that email, because it can be very, a lot of times there's not a lot in there, but there may be one or two nuggets that are just going to be very helpful for you. And Amazon is constantly making improvements. Features are constantly being expanded, and that kind of thing. And if you just take 5 minutes to read that email on any given Friday, I think you'll find it very helpful ultimately.
I think there are no further questions. So thank you everybody for coming to today's presentation. We hope you learned something new. If you've got any further questions, as we already mentioned, feel free to contact us. You can contact the Talking Books team, myself and Brittany, by phone at 703-228-6333, or by email at talkingbooks@arlingtonva.us. Or you can email Paul. He's already given out his email address, but I'll say it again. paulbu@msn.com.
Right.
And we will also share the link provided from Sam about the FiOS skill. And so we'll just include that in our email when we send a link to this presentation to everybody. If you called in and you would like us to email you the presentation, please go ahead and leave a voicemail for us at the number that I just gave, or via email, so that we know your email address. So thank you very much, and thank you, Paul.
Yes, thank you, Paul.
Absolutely, absolutely. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
All right, thanks everyone.
All right, take care, everyone. Have a wonderful day. All right, bye-bye.